I speak up by creating artwork that exposes truth and is centered around racial injustice.
My name is Trinity Smith. I am part of the 6071B New Orleans branch of the NAACP A.H.I.N.A.H, and this is my architecture project entitled A.H.I.N.A.H, A House is Not a Home, which I have also copyrighted. So, a little bit about me. As I stated, my name is Trinity Smith. I am a graduated senior from DOCA, the New Orleans Center for Creative Arts, and in the fall, I'll be going to Spelman College on a full ride as a Dovey Johnson Roundtree Presidential Scholar. I'm also part of the Ethel Waddle Gilly Honors Program, and I plan on double majoring in political science and visual arts. So I just want to start off by talking about the background and inspiration behind A.H.I.N.A.H. So the 59th annual Super Bowl was held in New Orleans, and during that Super Bowl, as I did go to high school in the French Quarter, I saw a lot of racial disparity, but a lot of inhumane treatment to the homeless population. So during the Super Bowl, right before it happened, I witnessed the police gather large dumpsters, and they were throwing away the homeless population's goods, and they also moved them all to a temporary shelter in New Orleans East, which cost $16 million and was only open for 90 days. However, right after the Super Bowl, that Monday, this amount of homeless people that were right back on the streets was about half of the New Orleans population. So after witnessing that, it really sparked my interest, not only to learn more about the homeless population, but also to learn what solutions can be held. Because if they could spend $16 million on a temporary solution, just imagine what they could do on a more permanent solution. So that's what sparked my project, A.H.I.N.A.H, A House is Not a Home, which combines a rehabilitation facility as well as a homeless shelter together to emphasize empowerment rather than mere survival. And A.H.I.N.A.H is designed to help the homelessness with resources, skills, and tools that they need to be independent members of society so that they can go back out into the workforce, go back out into the communities, and really contribute rather than just being a part of it. So you might ask yourself, why is this important? Well, 330 million people worldwide experience homelessness, and the most affected groups include African Americans, senior citizens, women, and families. And so out of those people who face homelessness, many are facing serious mental health conditions, substance abuse, addictions, disorders, and chronic illnesses. So with all that information, A.H.I.N.A.H is different from many other shelters based off of the programs that it offers and the community that it builds. So A.H.I.N.A.H offers mental health assistance, addiction rehabilitation, financial literacy, substance abuse therapy, self-care, nutrition classes, and then the chance to enroll in college or trade school courses. So this is focusing on the person holistically rather than just the basic essentials needed to survive. And with these programs, I aim to equip people with the necessary skills for independent living, job maintenance, employment, and then ultimately the means to succeed in today's world. And I also want to mention that I did present A.H.I.N.A.H at a community event where the homeless population was present, and they gave me a lot of really good feedback about the facility itself. And one older gentleman, he came up to me and he said that he had been in over 70 rehabilitation centers for alcohol and drug abuse, and he said that the most important thing that he learned from these facilities itself, or that really stuck with him, were the facilities that had programs such as programs centered with religion, or programs that focus on more than just food, housing. And so I really feel that A.H.I.N.A.H has the means to make a big difference within different communities that face homelessness. As for the design itself, A.H.I.N.A.H is 19,650 square feet total. So the first floor is approximately 9,000 square feet. It includes administrative offices, therapy rooms, dining areas, and then residence rooms, as well as bathrooms. The second floor is around 90 square feet as well, 9,000 square feet as well. It includes a library, group therapy rooms, and then additional resident rooms and bathrooms. The outdoor space is designated for parking, a greenhouse, pool, and hot tub. So as for a little bit more about the design and building details, Broad Street. So that is an oversized corner lot. It is approximately 131 by 150 square feet, which is about 0.45 acres, and is the ideal facility or the ideal lot based off of its residential and industrial zoning areas, as well as the community around it. So there is a Whole Foods across the street, there is a tax company, and then a cleaning service adjacent to the building. As for my influences, New Orleans has a beautiful architecture and culture, and so I really wanted to use that as my focal point when creating A.H.I.N.A.H and its visual looks. So it blends a mixture of French, Creole, and Spanish cultures together. We have the balconies and wrought iron railings, as well as Creole College and shotgun houses were an inspiration to me as well. And then along the perimeter of A.H.I.N.A.H is a balcony. And then I also do want to note that one really cool fact about New Orleans culture is the wrought iron railings usually seen in the French Quarter include different symbols like encofas, which were put there by enslaved Africans, and they did that to mark their place in not only the history of New Orleans, but also the buildings itself, really representing that they not only built the city, but they have a large influence within the city. And for me, that was a really grounding and inspirational point in my design process. These are just some visual representations. As you can see in the iron railing, that kind of flower detail on the curve is an example of Sankofa, as well as the wrought iron railings that you see on both pictures, and then the shotgun home style, as well as the arches. All of those really came into play when I was thinking about designing A.H.I.N.A.H. As for my more eco-friendly approach, I'm thinking of using things like hemp seed bricks, solar panels, and reclaimed wood. Ideally, when creating A.H.I.N.A.H, I would love to partner with different construction companies. So whatever kind of waste that they have, whether that be industrial, wood, whatever that can be reclaimed and reused for A.H.I.N.A.H, I would love to do that. And then for a little definitions, hemp seed bricks are carbon negative, so they help reduce the center's carbon footprint. There's solar panels on both sides of the roof. A.H.I.N.A.H also prioritizes water conservation. So using things like rainwater collection systems and low fuel pumping fixtures to really help conserve all of the water and make sure that it's used properly. And then the rainwater collection systems help support irrigation, while the low fuel pumping fixtures help minimize the waste. And then a little bit more of the outdoor spaces will have preemptible surfaces. So this allows the water to pass easily, and then the groundwater to be recharged, reduced, and then the runoff to be encouraged for natural absorption. And so the greenhouse will provide fresh food for the residents, as well as improving the air quality, but it also gives residents something to do, something to nurture, and something to really help just improve their quality of life and give them something to take care of. These are examples of the preemptible surfaces, so the water kind of goes through the cracks and then into the ground itself. And then here's another diagram of how it really works. So you have the irrigated bedding source up under the ground itself so that the water can flow through and then go into the Trinity. Onto my floor plans. So I used the app Blue Book to make my floor plans, and so I really wanted to just construct a visual representation of how the center flows. I have all the first floor, second floor, and then ground floor, so I'll just kind of go through them. We have on the right side patient rooms, as well as hallways, nurses station and offices, the lobby, community rooms, and then we have the kitchen, library, a set of stairs, bathrooms, and storage and administrative offices. And then the outside here, the black dots are the columns. This is just like outdoor seating. You have the hot tub area, and then around the fixture, the building itself is elevated because New Orleans does face a lot of things with hurricanes, and so the elevated structures to help the building last and be more sustainable. Here's our second floor, so we have the porch that surrounds the whole perimeter of the building. We have the community area in the center, nurses station to the left, salon, barber shop, the staircase, bathrooms, group therapy room, a library, porch area, nurses office and station, and then the patient rooms. This is my site plan, so you have the building of A.H.I.N.A.H itself, and then the surrounding areas, which includes the parking lot on all 3 sides. This is the section, so if you were to slice the building in half, this is what it would look like. You can see the community area with the kitchen up under, patient rooms, and just patients kind of going throughout the community. Here's another section, similar concept with the community areas, the library, and the lobby for reception. And then I'll go over to my board and just explain a little bit more about my physical model.
And for me, it was like all of these shelters, especially this temporary shelter that cost the city millions of dollars, 16 million to be exact, did not provide the stability that it should have. And there was complaints of unsanitariness, heating issues, food, like all of these different things. And it's like you put all of this money into a temporary shelter and it still didn't provide a home. And so for me, a house is not a home. It's just talking about how a building or resources does not provide a person with the necessary means to survive or to live in this world. Thank you. Yes, I've had a great time. I can't believe it's my last year. It's like very sentimental with full circle. So I'm excited for today.
The All
XO 26!